Welcome to the X Corner. I'm here adding mutation to the Superhero Crew. For the week of June 13th, 2018, we have 4 comics. Domino number 3, Hunt for Wolverine Adamantium Agenda number 2 of 4, Old Man Logan 41, and XMen Blue 29. Spoilers, yeah, of course. First up, we have Domino number 3. The writer is Gail Simone, and the penciler is David Baldion, with Anthony Piper doing the flashbacks. Last issue, Domino's friends got blowed up. Now Domino is lying on a dock ready to give up. She then has a flashback to her imprisonment as a young child, where some scientists tried to make her use her powers. They try hurting her, but then give her a kitten. I think we can see where this one's going. Back to the present, Domino picks herself up and decides to kick Topaz's ass for blowing up her friends. She does until Topaz uses her powers to magnify Domino's to the point of overwhelming her. She passes out and the bad guys escape. She is awoken by her friends. They weren't blown up thanks to Amadeus Cho hulking up and breaking through the bottom of their boat before it exploded. Cho says he isn't sure if either Outlaw or Diamondback sold her out, but Domino knows someone did. Then we get the second half of the flashback as the scientists threaten to hurt her cat if she doesn't cooperate. She uses her powers to have one of the scientists electrocute the other one, but for this act she gets her facial brand. Back in the present again, Domino lies to her friends and says she's going on a job in Hong Kong, solo. But in fact she's meeting up with someone who might be able to teach her to resist Topaz's powers effect. Shang-Chi, the master of Kung Fu. I don't know how Gail Simone does it, but somehow, while every other Marvel book has mediocre artists, at best, Gail gets not one, but 2 amazing ones. The first page of Domino lying beaten on the dock by Baltion is great, and then we go right into the amazing black and white flashbacks by Anthony Piper. The flashback scenes were good. They filled in some mystery and showed some of Domino's childhood, and they probably made up half the book, and I really liked them as a little story unto themselves. The actual story in the present was setting up for further plot, so not much going on, so those flashbacks really fleshed out this issue. This series so far has been great, and one I look forward to. Probably not as a surprise as it could have been, since Gail Simone is a proven excellent writer, but still surprised how good it actually is. It's a solid 8 out of 10, and I have a feeling it'll creep up to the 9 soon. Then there's Hunt for Wolverine Adamantium Agenda number 2 of 4. The writer is Tom Taylor and the penciler is R.B. Silva. So we have Luke and Jessica's daughter's DNA up on the black market auction block, and nobody wants it, since she doesn't even have powers. Tony grabs it for $30,000 and keeps bidding on stuff since he's there. Someone makes him though and tells him to wrap it up. Before he can figure out who that is, he's brought in to pay for the stuff he's bought, and asks about Wolverine's DNA. The seller says he has it, but is interrupted by Mr. Sinister, who accuses him of stealing it from him. A fight ensues, and the sub gets a hole in it. Iron Man is facing off against Sinister when the mysterious woman from earlier reveals herself to be Wolverine, the X-23 version. She slices off Sinister's hand and gets ready to throw down. I was pretty down on the first issue of this mini, but this one started off rolling. We got more of the flashback where Wolverine makes Stark promise not to use or let anyone else use his body after he's dead, so now we get the real reason these guys are trying to find it. The banter between the team was fun too, especially Jessica using Luke to plug the hole in the sub. Then the appearance of Mr. Sinister and Laura Wolverine made this one finally really connect to the actual crossover, if you can call these minis that. It's funny that a month after we got the death of a female Sinister, we get the return of the original. They might be calling this era Marvel Fresh Start, but it's really return to the status quo, which I don't have an issue with. Keep the good stuff and get rid of all that baggage that didn't work. As for this issue, I'll give it an 8. Much better than the last. It gives me new hope for all these other bad miniseries in the Hunt for Wolverine. Next is Old Man Logan number 41. The writer is Ed Brisson and the penciler is Francesco Manna. We begin with Kraven buying Logan's severed hand and claws from the bar owner of the place in which he lost it. He then hires some classic Wolverine villains to distract Logan in a brawl long enough to knock him out with some darts. Then Kraven does, as Kraven will. He brings Logan to the Savage Land to hunt him to put him out of his misery, as he says. They fight and Logan's bone claws are severed, but the fight is interrupted by a dinosaur, as happens in the Savage Land. This story was predictable and the art wasn't great, but it's still fun to see Kraven fighting Logan. Brisson does have his Wolverine lore down by bringing in Roughhouse and Bloodscream. Overall fun to read, but probably like all comics these days, it did need a second issue. We'll see how it wraps up, but like when Logan fought Bullseye, I don't have very high hopes. 6 out of 10. Lastly, we have XMen Blue number 29. The writer is Cullen Bunn, and the penciler is Nathan Stockman. So we start this issue with Jimmy Hudson getting a drink at a bar, and getting hit on by the waitress. Her ex-boyfriend steps in, and we get that inevitable bar fight. Except, Jimmy suddenly turns into a poison and kills everyone. The young time-displaced X-Men show up and try to reason with him, and they seem to be getting through when Dakin shows up and stabs Jimmy in the back. Why, God, why? Stupid poisons. I can't escape them. They're an infection. Just when I thought the X-titles were getting too good to bother to review, we get this trash. I didn't want to read that crappy crossover, and now we get this. And why the does the poison Jimmy look like Wolverine? Also, once again, Bloodstorm doesn't get her face on the roster, while Jimmy, the villain, does. You racist heads. Cullen Bunn must really love his poison idea, because he won't let it go. It ruined this book before the X-Men spun off into Venomized, and now they're back to ruin it again. Didn't I give this title a 10 last month? Well, now it's getting a 1. You, Poisons. Okay, I'm calming down. Can't think about XMen Blue. Anger rising. Think of Havoc and Gabby, and all the good X-Men gave us. Calm down. Deep breath. Okay, I think I have it under control. Boy, wasn't Domino great? I can't wait for more. Don't think about XMen Blue. I better go.